to grow up through these conditions, but I had to watch my sisters and my mother suffer through it as well. Women at this time were thought to stay home, do chores, cook, and clean, while men could get an education and build a life. Why were women treated like this in a country that called themselves free? I was born on November 26, 1832 in Oswego, New York. I grew up doing chores on a family farm, like any other little girl. As a child, I had 4 older sisters, Aurora, Vesta, Luna, and Cynthia, and my dear younger brother, Alba. My parents were teachers at a local schoolhouse. They always encouraged me and my siblings to read because they knew that in the future we would have a bright education. Me in particular, I liked to read my father's medical texts. They interested me, and this is how my want to become a doctor hatched. Later on, I attended Geneva Medical College. There I studied anything I wanted to. I was so happy to have a good education. I studied anatomy, obstetrics, surgery, and chemistry. Only after 2 years of education, I graduated and got my medical degree. I was the only woman in my class to graduate. After that, the Civil War broke out, and I wanted to serve my country. So I applied as a doctor in the Union Army. During the time that I waited for a reply to my application, I volunteered at many hospital wards and mills. I encountered many different stories that I will never forget today. Finally, I got a reply to my application. I was rejected, but I was persevered, so I applied again, only this time as a female surgeon. Again, I was rejected. It seemed as if no one with authority believed that a woman should become a doctor, let alone a surgeon. After that, I believed that further education would help me pursue a medical spot in the Army. So I attended Hygiena Therapeutic College. There I studied more about tending to soldiers and more about surgery. After about 6 months of more education, I wrote a letter to Abraham Lincoln asking for help getting into the Army as a doctor or a surgeon. However, he couldn't help. After that, I decided that I would become my own boss. So I started carrying medical supplies to wounded civilians. Again, this is another part of my career that I will never forget. One day, on April 6th, 1862, I was just strolling along and I was passing out some medical supplies. I didn't know it at the time, but I had crossed enemy lines, and I was arrested and thrown in Confederate prison for 4 months. While I was in prison, I slept on a mattress infested with rats with 2 other people and walked on dirt floors. I suffered from dysentery and malnutrition. Finally, I got out. I was free. After that, things started changing. The Union Army came to me and gave me a legitimate spot in the Army with a salary of $100 a month. I met so many new soldiers that still their stories inspire me today. About 2 weeks later, I went on a mission in Kentucky and treated orphans and war refugees at an orphanage. A few weeks after that, I earned the U.S. Congressional Medal of Honor. I'm the only woman today to have earned the medal. And I have one more thing to say to you before I leave. Women are strong. We are not the lesser gender and should be treated equally to men. Thank you.